Welcome to the Search Engine and Social Networking panel. My name is Elisa Balabram, and I am the director of the Brooklyn Enterprise Center at LDC of East New York. We also have a Women's Business Center. We offer one-on-one business coaching, small business classes. We have a sales class starting next week, and we also have a 60 hours business training that walks you through the business plan and how to run a business. Our coaching services are free. We are a nonprofit organization, and we have a table outside. I also have business cards with me if anyone is interested in learning more about our organization. I personally have experience with my own website, so I can help you as well with website content and a little bit of search engine optimization. I'd like to introduce our panelists. One of them hasn't joined us, but since we have a short time to speak, we are going to get started, and hopefully Michael will join us. Our first speaker is Jennifer Shaheen. She is the founder and president of the Technology Therapy Group, and she's an expert at helping small and mid-sized companies use technology to leverage effective marketing strategies and increase business productivity. And she'll be talking about e-marketing, preparation, planning, and strategy. And then our next speaker is Eleanor Trobman. She is the editor-in-chief of Creative Times, a blog for artists and entrepreneurs. She provides stories, interviews, tools, and resources for living an inspired and effective life. And then Michael, his name is Michael Ferranti. He's the founder and CEO of NDI Worldwide, and he has led the company's brand and product strategy, and he has over 12 years experience in marketing, sales, and technology. Michael will be talking about search engine optimization when he comes here, and Eleanor will be talking about blogging as a tool for building community. So welcome. Thank you, panel, for being here. And we are looking forward to hearing from you. I'll pass you the mic.
How you guys doing?
Great.
Good. While we're doing the mic pass, one of the things that I want to tell you is before you leave, if you give me your business cards, I will make sure that you get a copy of what I have on paper. So this is my bribery to get follow-up from you. And I tell you that pretty straightforwardly because as you learn in business, you really do need to follow up with other people and not wait for them to follow up with you, right? Right. Say it louder. Yes. I need to get some energy in this room. Okay, so I have what I call 7 things. And so go ahead, take out your piece of paper, and let's talk about, before we decide what we're doing, search or social or both, let's start with what the first question is, which is, what is your goal? Now, when I think about that, I really want you guys to think about this in a quantitative manner, meaning if you're building a community, how many members are you going to be looking for within the first month, within the first 3 months? All the things that you're going to be putting into probably your business plan, and I know there's a business plan competition this afternoon, right? Yes. So the second thing is, within that, also for those of you who are selling online, e-commerce, you want to think about how many sales, okay? If you're business to business and you don't specifically sell online, like you're an accountant or you're a marketing person, how many leads are you looking for? A month, a week, etc. And then also think about how many phone calls. One of the things you have to remember is, though we're talking about technology, people still like to get a human being on the phone. How many of you like to talk to a real person? Exactly, good. So that's my first point, which is, what is your goal? The second one is, what plays a role in reaching your goal? Now, I want you guys to think about this because when we get into things like search and social, one of the first things that I always warn people about that plays in their goals is time. People do not think about how much time your strategy. So when you think about your web marketing strategy, whatever it may be, I really want you to think about what plays a role in reaching that goal. So time, investment. Are you going to hire someone else, or are you doing it yourself? Your website. You guys see we handed out the anatomy of a website, but when you're talking about search and social, is the end result to drive them to your website? If that's the case, then is that going to affect how your goal is reached? Updates. Thinking about how often you're going to, so this goes back to that time there, but updates for your, so if you do a Facebook page, are you updating your Facebook page every day? Are you Twittering? If you're Twittering, how many times a day are you going to be doing that? And then I also want you to think about design and function here, because you'll drive traffic to a website, but you also want to make sure that when we get to one of our other points, which is it working, one of the things that could be causing a problem in why it's not working could be the function of your website. Is it not easy to use? So when you guys are thinking about your web marketing strategy, this is one of the things that will affect how you reach your goal. The other thing I like people to think about when they're thinking about their strategy is, where is your customer? And when I mean that, I mean online. So let's talk about a couple of the areas. One of the things that Eleanor is going to talk about is blogging, but let's talk about what is in the social landscape. And the social landscape includes blogs, but it also includes podcasting. Most people don't realize that 51% of women and 48% of men listen to podcasts. And according to Arbitron, you'll find that these range in ages. So from the ages of 24 to 34, you'll find a good 20% of people listening to podcasts. So when you're thinking social, don't just think Facebook. There are a whole bunch of other strategies out there. So we have blogging, podcasting, social networks. Does everybody know what a social network is?
No.
No. Thank you. I appreciate that. A social network is a network online that is around a general area. And I say this specifically because that's why Facebook is what's known as a general social network. And one of the things that I tell people to think about is our affinity groups. Affinity groups mean that people gather around specific topics. So for example, one of the affinity groups out there that we just happen to be recently involved with is one called Ravelry. Ravelry is an affinity group that is for the knitting community. So it is poised to say that it's a social network, but it's really not. It's an affinity group. So I bring that up because sometimes those may be better places where your customer is. Where is your client? If you're selling knitting supplies, you want to be on Ravelry because that's what they're there to do. Okay? So some things to think about. Don't forget about things like wikis. I find that everybody gets so focused on buzzwords like Twitter that they forget about other things like, what about having a page on Wikipedia for yourself? Is this a strategy? Is that where your customer is going to be looking for you? One of the things you've heard me say is Twitter. So Twitter is a microblog. And what that means, for those of you who are still learning that, means that you can only put out an idea. It's 140 characters, so you can just kind of burst out a little bit of information. And if you're going to use this as a tool, you're going to be looking to follow and get followers, people who want to listen to your advice. So there's a whole strategy behind using Twitter. The other thing I want you to think about in the social landscape is video and streaming channels nowadays. So you have YouTube, yes, but you also have small business television. There are tons and tons of places now that are doing streaming media online. Is that where your customer is? So from a business-to-business standpoint, is that a better place for you to be? And then social bookmarking. Again, a lot of people forget about these things, and they have been around for a little while, but social bookmarking sites include something like Delicious or Dig. So from the search side of things, I also want you guys to think about when you're thinking about your search campaigns, there's two different ways to go, and when Michael gets here, he'll answer that question. If not, I'll do it in Q&A. But with search, you have both search engine optimization, which is being found on the right side, or the left side, the natural side, or the top and the right where the ads are, that's your pay-per-click. But you also want to think about where is your customer, meaning which search engine are they using? and I'm going to give you some places to check out all of that.